You're watching Alaska's news source.
Failed vote after failed vote. The House of Representatives has now been without a Speaker of the House for more than 16 days. Now, this afternoon, Maria Downey spoke with our Washington News Bureau's Brendan Cullerton to get the very latest.
Brendan, Jim Jordan lost a third vote for Speaker of the House today. You've been speaking to lawmakers about the election. Why didn't Jordan have the votes?
Well, Maria, we did speak to lawmakers and several of those no votes, and most of them fell into one of three camps. One was simply that he was the choice of those who ousted Kevin McCarthy, Matt Gaetz, and those other 7 Republicans. And so on principle, some people just didn't want to reward that. They also didn't want to reward what they saw as bullying from Jordan's supporters, threatening to primary anyone who didn't vote for him. And even in some cases, lawmakers came forward saying that they received death threats for not voting for Jim Jordan. So they just didn't agree with that style of politics. And then part of this was just moderates. Moderates in districts that Joe Biden won. There's about 20 of them. And they saw Jim Jordan as a MAGA-style, Trump-style Republican that would be a political loser for them in their own districts. As you mentioned, that kind of ended up in Jordan losing his bid to be Speaker.
So what could be the next for Republicans in their search for Speaker?
Well, we don't have answers, but we do have a timeline. And we have already seen some Republicans throwing their hat into the ring. Anyone who wants to run for Speaker will need to file by Sunday at noon. Then Monday night, there's going to be a candidate forum where these candidates will be able to make their case to the Republican caucus in a closed meeting. And then finally, there is a tentative floor vote scheduled for Tuesday morning. So best case scenario is we have a Speaker elected on Tuesday. That is the earliest it could happen.
Also, President Biden gave a primetime address about the situation in Israel and Gaza last night. What was his message to Americans?
Well, a lot of this was the president making his case to Americans to send their tax money overseas because he mentioned in this address that he wants to send $100 billion in a package, mostly to Ukraine and Israel. This is something that he's asking Congress to do. Aid particular to Ukraine has become less popular as the year has gone on. So the president got there and he said democracy is under siege overseas, in one case from terrorists and the other from Vladimir Putin. And he tried to convince Americans that if you stand for American ideals and democratic ideals, we should stand with these democracies who are under attack.
And finally tonight, what are lawmakers saying about the president's request for $100 billion in aid to Israel and Ukraine?
Well, and it should be noted that until there is a Speaker of the House, nothing can pass. So that needs to be resolved first before this could even fail or pass in the House. But there is broad support for aid to Israel. It was definitely a calculated move for the president to tie that to aid to Ukraine because that is less popular, particularly among Republicans in the House. So that will make it a taller order, combining the aid to Israel with the about $60 billion that would be going to Ukraine.
All right. Thank you, Brendan. Brendan Cullerton with our Washington News Bureau.